Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. So that is going to be AEW Dynamite and WWE SmackDown. Next couple weeks, I'm probably not going to be watching Collision, so I'm going to separate the two reviews for Monday and Fridays with Dynamite and SmackDown on Mondays. Fridays is going to be Raw and Power for at least a couple weeks. So, let's get into this first review for AEW Dynamite. It is and we start off with the Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega face-off. And Will Ospreay starts out, "Hey Kenny, thanks for joining me. I can't remember the last time we were in the ring. We shared the ring together, but I need help fighting the Callis family, and you've come back at a really bad time. While I've been trying to get over at Mox, he has his crew. Callis just get in the way, and I could really use some help." And Kenny Omega replies, "Stop. You said you don't remember the last time we shared a ring? Well, we fought at Forbidden Door, and you nearly broke me. And you stabbed me with that screwdriver Callis gave you. But now I'm back. Congratulations on being number 2, which that definitely got under Will Ospreay's skin. I never trust someone like you." And before Kenny Omega can continue, out comes Don Callis, who starts off, "Well, look at these two." And then Kenny sees red. He dives out of the ring, goes after Don Callis, gets a couple good shots in, but out comes Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita, who beat up Kenny Omega for a little while. Then Will Ospreay jumps out of the ring, and these two have a big old brawl. Eventually, Lance Archer and Brian Cage come in. They brawl pretty much all over the arena, including to a merch table. Let's face it, that was planted, but still, that was cool. Where Cage went to chokeslam Kenny. No, Archer tried to chokeslam Kenny. Ospreay got in the way, goozled them both, went up for their chokeslam. Both guys countered, and they hit a double suplex through the table. They brawled to the outside of back into the arena. Ospreay's up on a little overhang in the arena. Omega climbs this truss, which is, I guess, a part of the arena too. And they hit stereo moonsaults, not only on the Don Callis family, but on a bunch of security guards that tried to break this up. So Don Callis family retreats up the ramp. Kenny and Will climb up the truss, with Kenny having a microphone saying, "Hey Don, we saw what you did. Next time we get a chance at you, you're going 6 feet under. Will, you want that apology? I should apologize to you. I was in the wrong. So, Callis, how about this? Grand Slam is going to be me and Ospreay taking on Takeshita and Fletcher." And I'm going to get down now because I'm afraid of heights. So, a little humanizing moment for Kenny Omega, which is always nice. That was one of the best opening segments in Dynamite in a while. This was great. It established, the kind of hierarchy we're going to see at the next couple of shows. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. I can't wait. Then we get a Pac Copeland hype video. They're going to have a match later on in the main event. Then we have like a backstage Jon Moxley promo where he says, "Being elite, bring it, wimp. I woke up in 2025 where he doesn't belong. There's plenty of weak creatures here. Job 1, Darby had the death wish. Next time you go to the doctors, it'll be bad news. And I won't lose sleep over this. I got no time for relics of the past. I'm trying to build the future." It feels like more of the same from Mox. Like, I think that's why the Death Rider storyline isn't clicking. It feels like the story's just spinning its wheels until Darby gets back. Anyway, we go to our first matchup of the evening, and it's for the AEW Tag Team titles, as Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley challenge Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn of Private Party. And this, honestly, let's call it what it is. It's an extended squash. Yeah, Private Party did get some good stuff in, including a couple of big dives. Shelton Benjamin with an impressive cutter at one point. That was interesting. Lashley with a catch of a dive, and then a spine buster into the announce table. Benjamin tags back in, gets some stuff in on Isaiah Cassidy. Quinn with the heart tag. They go for silly string, but that gets countered. Lashley goes for a power slam. That gets blocked into a super kick. Big O and Zaguri for a 2. A spear only gets him a 2. Then Shelton with a couple of suplexes. Spine buster. Big knee strike. Hitting the spear for the 1, 2, 3. And your winners, new AEW Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate. Now, do I think Private Party was a little hosed with this title reign? Absolutely. They did not need to lose that badly. Hopefully they can, AEW can build Private Party back up to a respectable manner, and we can see a decent reign out of them in the future. Then we get a Toni Storm versus Mariah May vignette. Very well done. Getting us ready for Grand Slam. Then we go to a Toni Storm backstage interview saying, "I'm really excited to get this shot in my home. It's going to be a ton of fun." Then Harley Cameron comes in, which, that was unexpected. Saying, "Toni, to one rookie to another, I just want to wish you luck. I wish I could wrestle at Grand Slam too." Toni chimes in saying, "Oh, you can still wrestle at Grand Slam. Why don't you ask Mercedes Moné for a TBS title shot?" Then Harley kind of gets a little smirk. She says, "Harley in Australia. Yeah. So, funny back and forth between Harley and Toni Storm. We'll see what happens later on with Moné. Next up, we get a Jeff Jarrett backstage interview, although no one has seen him around. Actually, no. Before he can say anything to the interviewer, Karen Jarrett walks in, which, very interesting. Saying, "Could you guys give us a minute? I just want to talk to Jeff alone." So, interviewer, Jay Lethal, Sanjay, Satnam, they all go away. saying, with Karen saying, Jeff, last week, I know that isn't who you are. That isn't the man I married. We're going to get through this, and you're going to be the world champ. Jeff then says, yeah, I got it. I got this. Then we go out to the ring for a Jeff Jarrett promo. They are in the middle of Nashville, Tennessee. Definitely Jeff Jarrett country, because he gets a big old reaction saying, it's great to be back in my home, and as I was driving here, I figured out how to address this. Last week took me back to a tag match years ago, and the guys beat my ass verbally and physically. And while I was making some efforts, I got to the back, and coming in right behind me was Jerry the King Lawler. Naming dropping quite the legend there, Double J. And then Jeff Jarrett continues. He said to me, Jeff, what are you thinking out there? Don't get in the gutter with them. You be you. Jeff then continues, it's great to come back home and remember who I am. And now I'm going to reveal who I am to the rest of the world. And I'm going to handle this Southern side style. You guys gave me the juice to keep going in the Owen Hart tournament. You gave me a gift. At 57 years old, this old man believes he can be the world champion. And Mox, you get out here so we can talk. Calling out the top dog. Damn, Double J. So, Death Rider's music hits. But instead of Mox, we get Claudio Castagnoli, who hits a nasty uppercut on Jeff Jarrett. Claudio gets a microphone saying, Jeff, nobody gets into the mix without getting to Mox without getting through me. Stay out of our business. So Claudio drops the mic. He's going back to the back. Jeff then gets the microphone, says, Claudio, you're going to have to kill me to stop me. Moxley is my target. I'll beat you next. How about this? If I beat you next week, I get my shot at Mox. Claudio then turns around. He somehow has a microphone again. And he says, beating you lifeless? Interesting proposition. I'll see you next week. So we're getting Claudio versus Jeff Jarrett next week. That is insane to think about. Like, literally. I never thought I'd be cheering for Jeff Jarrett. Let's do this, baby. Let's go. We then get a Megan Bay highlight reel, including her position in the Casino Gauntlet, but also some from her trip over to Japan, which Megan Bay is talented. Let me tell you that. Then we go to our next matchup, as it's AR Fox taking on Swerve Strickland. And the history between these two dudes. They got some history going back to Lucha Underground. If you don't know what that is a American lucha company that was really popular, but sadly is no longer with us. And these two were, I don't want to say top guys, but they were in the mix a lot. And boy, oh boy, these two picked off right where they left off from. Lots of really, really good back and forth, including Fox with a big moonsault. And as we see this match going on, we see Ricochet. He's in his suit. He has those scissors. He's walking around in the back somewhere. So I'm like, okay. Swerve then with a big old brain buster, hits a backbreaker. Then as he's ready for his next move, Ricochet appears in the arena. He's about to stab Swerve with the scissors. Swerve ducks it, hits a clothesline to knock him off the apron, in which Nana then runs him off with his steel chair, which that is hilarious. AR Fox comes back with a DDT, a shooting star press, but then Swerve counters it with a big power slam, couple of uppercuts. Swerve then with the drive-by. Misses on a 450, in which AR Fox rolls him up for a 2 count. Swerve with then a flatliner, a house call, and a Swerve stomp, where your winner is Swerve Strickland. Then we see Ricochet come up on the Titantron. And he says, the trips you take, you're going to take time away from me. I'm going to force what I have to say. Right, Nana? Camera pans out. We see Ricochet pointing the scissors right at Prince Nana's neck. Ricochet then continues, I need you to tell Swerve it might be his house, but you've got a new landlord and rent is due. We then see Swerve get out of the ring, hightail it to the back, and then Ricochet runs off. So, this is a very interesting little rivalry. I'm wondering what's going to happen with the scissors, though. That's going to be weird. We then get highlights from the Mox Powerhouse Hobbs World Title match from last week. And then we go to the New York Minute segment with the Learning Tree, because can't have Dynamite without Chris Jericho, I guess. Anyway, Jericho says, we lost that 12-man tag on Collision. We failed on taking out Hobbs. Then Big Bill chimes in saying, failures are only the signpost to success. Jericho then has a befuddled look on his face, turns to him, says, really? You're going to make this into a learning moment? Well, learning moments come with something to learn. Big Bill then takes the step forward, says, last week Hobbs and I went face to face. You cannot beat me on your own. So this Saturday, Hobbs, I'm coming to find you. So this doesn't feel like a match. This feels like a challenge to a fight, which is going to be very, very interesting. So then we get an in-ring promo from MJF, which he pretty much says, Jeff Jarrett, I say you deserve to give me, every fan, an apology. If anyone that deserves it, it's me. I offered you the title opportunity, but you didn't do it because I didn't do it because I believed in you. You were easily to manipulate and beat. You really think in 2025 you're going to be the next AEW champion without my help? You're as senile as you look. And after Claudio beats you next week, and you will be, I'm going to earn time in the sport you know. Wrestling doesn't love you anymore. They can chant all they want. You're going to find out the hard way. It's better to make a deal with the devil instead of defy him. Wow. That was the deepest promo from MJF I think I've heard in a while. It's time to stop with the low bar stuff for MJF. let's get MJF focused and serious now. And actually, this interrupted a planned match between Hangman Page and... I didn't catch the name of the kid. So got in the ring. MJF told him to go out. And he went on that promo. Then at the end, Hangman Page comes out, goes face to face with MJF. Says to him, leave my ring. So MJF does. Enhancement talent comes back in. Bell rings. Clothesline. Couple of strikes. Another clothesline. And your winner is Hangman Adam Page. Squash match in 2025. I did not believe I would be able to see that. And it only took seconds, which is absolutely nuts. So, post-match, as Hangman Page is going up the ramp, after he takes out the enhancement talent a little more, including hitting the Angel's wings. We'll get to that in a second. Hangman Page goes up the ramp. Out comes the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels. And he's all in a suit. He's got a neck brace on. Hangman then gets... He doesn't get the microphone, but he leans into the microphone Daniels has. He says, want me to beat your ass again? It was... Intense Hangman is great. Danielson says, I just wanted to be a friend to you because you've lost all yours. I let my ego escalate this. I'm going to regret that for the rest of my life. And my doctors told me I'd never wrestle again. And I'm out here to tell you that you win. And this is goodbye. I'm sorry. And then Christopher Daniels leaves. We stay on Hangman for a second. It looks like he has a little bit of regret on his face. Then he turns, sees the camera, puts the hand in the camera lens. So that was very interesting character work from Hangman Adam Page. Are we going to get classic Hangman again? We'll see. Then we get a little highlight of the opening segment with Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, which, interesting. Got a little card rundown so far of Grand Slam, which is going to be in Australia this year. That sounds fun. Then we get a Mercedes Moné interview saying, you're right, I am a global champion. I'm waiting to see who jumps on the money train next. Then in walks Harley Cameron. She has a guitar. She starts singing. I didn't catch about half of it. Then I hear, I want to ride the money train. What do you say? I'm not going to sing it because I am a horrible singer. Moné then replies, I've wrestled all over the world. You haven't even won a match on AEW. That is a hard no. Moné walks off. You see Renee Paquette, the interviewer, kind of consoling Harley Cameron, in which I hope that match gets made, because I feel like that would be a really entertaining matchup. So we'll see about that. Speaking of an entertaining matchup, we get part 2 of Julia Hart taking on Jamie Hayter. And Julia, if you noticed, had a little change to her music. Instead of the house always wins, it was Hart always wins. Go back and look at it. It's an amazing detail. So, yeah, this was definitely a very interesting matchup. It definitely felt like these two ladies did not like each other. They went move for move, holding each other's smashing each other into everything they can find. One point we saw Julia Hart block a side slam and lock in an octopus hold, but Jamie Hayter gets out via the backbreaker. Julia Hart with a crucifix bomb, only for a 2 count. Tries to lock in the Heartless, which is her submission finisher. That gets blocked. Hayter with the Hate Breaker and the Haterade to pick up the win. Then, post-match, Jamie Hayter gets Mike. She says, "See that today? I'm not here to butter someone else's bread," which is a great saying, by the way. She says, "I have respect for women like you. No matter who have you behind you or on your own, you're still a tough bitch. And when you want number 3, you got it." So a little respect going to Julia Hart, who is now without Malachi Black, who is, I mean, he's still technically under contract, but he's pretty much on his way out. So, yeah, we'll see what happens to the rest of the House of Black in these next couple of weeks. Then we go backstage to a Powerhouse Hobbs promo saying, "Bill, I know you're looking for me. And in Jacksonville, where I got my start, I'll be waiting for you in the parking lot." So Hobbs and Big Bill in a parking lot brawl. I'm in. Then we go backstage to a Swerve Strickland promo. He's pacing right in front of Prince Nana. He says, "Do you think you're big and bad, Ricochet? Now you got the attention of the most dangerous man in AEW. Maybe I'll catch you sleeping and burn your world to the ground." I kind of didn't catch the tail end of this promo. I do apologize. Then we get a House of Black promo / kind of hype video with them saying, "We had a voice to lead us. Now we're coming out of the shadows. No more leaders, just violence. And when we bark together." So, if you haven't seen Collision, they are now called the Hounds of Hell, which is that is the most metal name I've ever heard, and I am here for it. Very excited to see where they go with these guys, because they deserve something. And then we come to Dynamite's main event, as we got Adam Copeland, the former Edge, and no, I will not be calling him Cope, taking on the Bastard, Pac. And seeing this clash of styles, the kind of high-flying aerial attack of Pac, the old-school ground and pound of Copeland, it made for a very intriguing matchup. They went absolutely move for move. Copeland with a big old sky high at one point, which was awesome, only to get a 2. He goes for the Impaler DDT, but Pac just kind of collapses. I guess he was playing possum, because when Copeland went to do something else to Pac, he gets up, hits some kicks. Then Copeland with a clothesline hits the Impaler DDT. He's setting up for it. He's in the corner. He's ready for the spear. Pac leapfrogs Copeland. Copeland goes for a Death Valley driver. That gets blocked into a standing brutalizer, which that is impressive. But Copeland makes it to the ropes. Pac goes for a suplex, but that gets blocked by Copeland. Pac with a super kick. Hits a suplex. Pac was going in for more attack on Copeland. Ref backs Pac off. He checks on Copeland. Then Pac goes right in, locks in the brutalizer. But Copeland fights up, hits a sidewalk slam. Then sets up, hits a spear to Pac's back. Then hits another one to Pac's front. Pac rolls out of the ring. Copeland gets him back in, hits an airplane spin TKO, which that was very impressive for your win for Adam Copeland. And as he's celebrating, up on the big screen, you see the rest of the Death Riders, and they have not only FTR, but the Rock and Roll Express, for whatever reason. They're all taped up and they're all gagged like cartoon characters. And it is the weirdest looking thing I have ever seen in my life. This brings out the Death Riders, and they just beat down Copeland for a while. Then out comes Jay White on his own, starts fighting off the Death Riders. It's a low blow on Mox, about to go to the Blade Runner, but Yuta gets in and saves Moxley. And yeah, Death Riders pretty much beat down on both guys. Moxley locks in the Bulldog choke on Copeland. And then Moxley lets go. Death Riders leave. I will say this was an absolutely great episode of AEW Dynamite. My only issue is with the main event segment with the Death Riders stuff. And I said it earlier, the Death Riders stuff feels like it's going nowhere fast. And either A, Tony Khan needs to cut this stuff, or B, let's do something interesting with it. Like, let's have Claudio and Jeff Jarrett in a backstage fight somewhere. Let's I don't know, let's do something more interesting than just the usual. So, that was AEW Dynamite. We now move into WWE SmackDown, the go-home show to Saturday night's main event. We start off with a Cody Rhodes interview. They're in the ring, with Cody saying HBK is the perfect person to moderate this contract signing. He's gonna put the future of WWE's in his hands with NXT, and talk about WrestleMania moments. And while I have this, I don't know. What do you think about Owens? And I know it's been asked in every locker room all over the world. There's a lot of different opinions on him. Owens is clearly a genius in the ring. He's a once-in-a-generation superstar. But he clearly takes the easy way out. But at the Royal Rumble, it's going to be a ladder match. There's going to be no refs involved to screw this up. And it's about me leaving as champion. And I'd like to look Kevin Owens in the eyes and say, while you appear to be the good guy in your story, I'm going to press a button over this BS. The pile drivers will continue. I beat Gunther. I dethroned Roman. I'm the QB of WWE. I'm the student of Randy Orton first. And I'm as mean as they get. I'm going to punch you in the face of the car. And I got only one other thing to say to you. Good luck. Oh. This is the infusion of energy Cody Rhodes needed. It's definitely good to see more passion with Cody. Although, not to say he wasn't passionate. But I think this rivalry has brought out the best of Cody Rhodes. So next, we see DIY in the back talking about how Apollo Crews last week had this coming. Then Pretty Deadly walk in, asking, alright, what's tonight's game plan? Tommaso Ciampa then says, look, we got our own things to worry about tonight. We got Apollo Crews. Then I think it was Elton Prince saying, well, I thought this was a pretty quo situation. Tommaso then chimes in, tonight, you handle your business. You do what it takes to get this done. Then DIY walk off. Legado del Fantasma then walk in. They have a little stare down with Pretty Deadly. And Pretty Deadly kind of scoots around them. So, yeah. I'm honestly happy the tag division is getting some spotlight. And speaking of, underrated match this was, as we have the Motor City Machine Guns taking on Pretty Deadly. And honestly, I thought this was going to be like a 15-second nothing. These two teams were given plenty of time. They looked absolutely awesome together. With Pretty Deadly doing everything in their power to come away with the win. Including countering a Skull and Bones attempt. But eventually, the Guns get on the same page. Do the atomic drop kicks combination. Eventually, they do hit Skull and Bones to win. I'm going to... Bravo to Pretty Deadly. That was an amazing outing. It's good to see guys like this finally getting a spotlight. And the Guns, well, we'll get to the Guns in a little bit. Anyway, so now we're back in Nick Aldis's office. He's on the phone with someone, it looks like. And then the Mix walks in, saying, the man who runs SmackDown. What do you want me to do? You want me to interview someone? Want me on Miz TV? You want the ratings? You want Owen's side of the picture? Aldis then reveals, it's clear you're not here for a family visit. You're here on SmackDown permanently. Miz then gets a wide-eye look on his face, says, no, but that can't be. The Wyatts are here. I got them moved away from me. Then Aldis chimes in, well, you better go make some friends fast. And Miz runs off. I was kind of hoping we'd be done with the Miz and the Wyatts, but if that means we get to see some other combination of the Miz with someone else, I think I'd be okay with that. We then get a Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu hype video for Saturday night's main event. Be covering that tomorrow, so stay tuned. But then once that's finished, Kevin Owens comes out of the crowd. He gets on a headset saying, I'd love to know where my interview is. You guys are just making me miss Michael Cole, but you're all too busy kissing Cody's ass. And what does Cody do to his friends? He uses and betrays them. This proves I am the true world champion, and I'm going to beat Ohio State I'm going to beat Cody as bad as Ohio State beat the Longhorns. This brings out Jimmy Uso, which, a little interesting. Kevin Owens takes the microphone in the ring. Jimmy has one. Kevin Owens says, "What the heck is this? What do you want? Why are you out here?" Jimmy on beat says, "You talk too much." Take that one to the bank, Botchamania. That's a great one. And then he just beats the heck out of Kevin Owens. Jimmy with a big old super kick. He was going up for the Uso splash, but Owens rolls out of the ring. Jimmy picks up the microphone and says, "Hey, Gail, where you running to? Things keep getting weird around here. So tonight, how about you versus me, one-on-one?" So, Jimmy Uso versus Kevin Owens. Feel like I've seen that match before, but that is fine. Then we see Piper Niven, head of security, leading Chelsea Green to the ring. Cut to commercial. We come back. We're back in Nick Aldis' office. In walks Carmelo Hayes, who's saying, "Tonight was supposed to be me and Jimmy in a match." Aldis then says, "Things happen to change. But tonight, I made another acquisition for Raw, and I think you would make a great first opponent." Carmelo Hayes then says, "You already did this to me with Strowman. I want to see him before we have our match." Aldis reveals, "Yeah, he's on his way right now. If you're willing to wait, you can come see him." This one's going to be interesting. So next up, a little tag team action, players. It's Chelsea Green and Piper Niven take on Michin and B-Fab. And, this match was way too short for my liking. It did start off really good with Michin and Piper. Piper being the big old powerhouse, with Michin using more of her smarts to get around it. Eventually, hot tag is made to both Green and B-Fab. B-Fab with those big kicks. That's absolutely nuts. Green with a big DDT. And then Piper Niven comes in with the senton. B-Fab tags in Michin, who runs right into a boss man slam. But B-Fab with a big drop kick to take out Niven. Green tries for the unpretty her, but that gets blocked into the Eat Defeat for your win for Michin and B-Fab. Like I said, this was way too short of a match. I kind of wish it was given a little tiny bit more time to develop into anything. So it looks like we're still getting Michin versus Chelsea Green in the near future. I don't know. Cut to commercial. Come back. We see Carmelo Hayes and Nick Aldis. They're waiting around, with Hayes saying, "You tried this one already. I'm ready to go." Hear a knock at the door, and in walks Damian Priest, former World Heavyweight Champion. With Priest saying, "Tonight I'm ready to get started." Aldis chimes in, "Well, Hayes wanted a match with you." Priest says, "I'm here to work. I'm ready to fight." So we're getting Priest versus Carmelo Hayes tonight. I'm down. Let's do it. We then get our next Charlotte Flair vignette revealing she's going to make her return in the Royal Rumble match, which definitely ready for her return. Then we get Tiffany Stratton promo saying, "I am the center of attention, and next week at the Rumble, 30-win fight for a chance at me. And I beat last year's winner, and whoever wins is running on Tiffy time. This brings out Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley. She gets in the ring, has a microphone, saying, Tiffy, I know you're still kind of new here, but I'm a champion too. And while I expect what you did to Nia, it's not anything that's going to be compared to what I'm going to do to her on Saturday. And of course, this brings out Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, with Nia taking the lead, saying, I don't know why I'm out here catching strays, but it's going to be a historic moment as I officially not myself entering and winning the Royal Rumble match. And I know you're asking yourself, Nia, wouldn't you already be champion with Nia's reign ending tomorrow? All correct. I'm going to beat you, Rhea, and I'm still going to be in the Rumble, and I'm going to take back the title that is clearly mine. This brings out Bianca Belair and Naomi, with Naomi weirdly taking lead in this, saying, can you believe this? Ring is filling up quick, so we're going to announce our entrance in the Royal Rumble, and if you don't win, you'll win. Well, if I don't win, one of us is going to win, and none of them are going to win. And this brings out Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, with Liv saying, well, look at all the losers we have here, and I don't care. And you know what? Want to know why? The headline is going to be all about me, because I declare my entry in the Women's Royal Rumble match, and I'm the only person who can do so, because Raquel has ensured my victory. And as she steps into the ring, she steps up to Rhea, who just headbutts Liv right in the chest. And this sets everyone up, and they all brawl. And this brings out Nick Aldis, who has a microphone, but we don't hear from him because it cuts to commercial. We come back at just the beginning of a 6-woman tag match. We got Rhea Ripley teaming with Naomi, teaming with Bianca Belair to take on Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Candice LeRae. And at first we see Rhea and Nia starting off. They kind of test their strength, kind of. But then Nia backs off, tags in Candice LeRae, who starts off strong, eats a sidewalk slam. Then after a little flurry from Candice, Rhea tags in Bianca, who then tags in Naomi. They hit a double suplex, double drop kick, and then a moonsault leg drop combination, which was absolutely nutty. Liv gets the tag in, hits a big old Rana. Bianca with the blind tag hits a hip toss into a shooting star, only for a 2. Candice LeRae gets in the way, pulls the ponytail of Bianca Belair, but Bianca flips out of it, hits a drop kick. This brings in Nia, who takes Bianca's hair and whips her with it, which never thought I'd see that. Nia then goes up for the Annihilator. That gets countered. Candice tags herself in. It's a running neck breaker for a 2 count. She has the offense for a little bit. Bianca's going for the tag, but Nia takes out Rhea. Liv takes Bianca out from the apron. Oh, so that's Naomi. Naomi's getting a little beat up. She eventually gets her legs around her, hits an X Factor. Then Rhea climbs to the apron, gets the tag. Looks like she's about to go for the Riptide, but Liv tries to lock in the sleeper, but Rhea powers it out. Rhea then hits a Riptide. Raquel gets on the apron and distracts Rhea long enough for Liv to get up, hit the code breaker. But then Bianca with a KOD. But then Candice with the big roll-up. And the win for herself, Nia Jax, and Candice LeRae. So, yeah, definitely a fun six-woman tag. Getting there was kind of stupid because that felt very much like a Vince McMahon promo train where like, oh, I'm the best, blah, 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 blah. Person comes out, oh, I'm the best, blah, 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 blah. And it just kept going on and on and on. And I'm going to say this, Triple H, don't do that again. Just don't. Please. Anyway, so we're in the back. Piper Niven is tending to Chelsea Green, who has a ton of bruises on her face. That looks brutal. So then, in walks Chelsea Green is kind of shrieking, "Where were you? How did you let this happen?" In walks Michin and B-Fab, with Michin saying, "Clearly the numbers were even, and you're not security, but I think I got another title shot in my future." So, B-Fab and Michin walk off. Green turns to Piper Niven saying, "We need a bigger security detail." So, maybe we'll see more people added to the Chelsea Green stable. Kind of like what JB Hell had back in the day when he was WWE champion. He had his cabinet. It was the Bashams, Orlando Jordan, and then there was someone else. I forget who. So I kind of hope we get something like that for Chelsea Green. I think that'd be great. Then we go to our next matchup as Johnny Gargano takes on Apollo Crews. And honestly, I forgot how dang good Apollo Crews is. Like, he hung in there with Johnny Gargano. It was great. He did whiff on a frog splash, in which Johnny hit a big old super kick for the 2 count. Crews then a little later on hits the military press slam moonsault combination for a 2 count. Goes for the splash, whiffs Gargano with some elbows into a drop kick. Then Gargano tosses Apollo Crews to the outside, distracts the ref, and Ciampa just attacks Apollo Crews, throws him back in. Then out comes the Motor City Machine Guns. They're jawing a little bit with DIY. Crews with the surprise roll-up for the 1, 2, 3. So your winner is Apollo Crews. I hope we get something with Apollo Crews in the near future, because he's too good to just be a one and done. Like, get this man a tag team partner. Let them go for the tag straps. Then we get an interesting little look back of Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, with Jacob talking a little smack to Braun Strowman, saying, "This is Godzilla versus King Kong, except you're neither, I'm both. And I haven't made them like me. LA Knight, I'm coming for you next." So this leads us to our next match as LA Knight takes on Tama Tonga. And this match was dang good. Like, this was a... Oh, before that happens, LA Knight gets a microphone, says, cut my music. You two have got hell to pay. You're not costing me my title and getting away with it. Tonight, I'm going to get my piece with you, Tammy Tonga. And tonight, I'm taking the whole thing. You drew the short straw. And Jacob, if you get involved, there's not going to be anything left for Braun Strowman on Saturday. And you're about to get your first class ticket to a butt kicking. The bell rings and they pretty much throw haymakers at one another. These were two, I guess, middleweights acting like heavyweights. Tama Tonga's in control for a little bit, but Knight fights out of her nerve hold. Knight with a neck breaker, which that was absolutely nuts. Tama Tonga with an angle slam. That was a little jarring to see. Then Tonga with his jumping DDT for a 2 count. Tonga goes for a superplex. That gets blocked. LA Knight with his megastar elbow drop. He goes for the BFT, but Jacob Fatu is up on the apron. Tama Tonga tries for the roll-up, only gets a 2. LA Knight with a BFT for the pin and the win. In post-match, Jacob Fatu gets in the ring, just attacks LA Knight, slams him into the announce table, bunch of headbutts in the ring, and this brings out the monster, Braun Strowman. And they are in the ring. They have a little stare down. Braun rips open his shirt, Hulk Hogan style. And Tama tries to grab Jacob Fatu. Fatu pushes him out of the ring. At that point, Tama Tonga gets the attention of Strowman. Jacob Fatu goes for a splash, whiffs. Braun Strowman with a clothesline over the top. And Tama grabs a hold of Jacob Fatu and leads him up the ramp. Definitely an impressive brawl. Definitely excited for that matchup on Saturday night's main event. We then cut to backstage. We have A-Town Down Under interacting with The Miz. With The Miz saying, we are made from the same cloth. Theory saying, oh, we're going to be rich. Together, we are going to run SmackDown. Then Nick Aldis walks in saying, Theory, Waller, pack your bags. You're going to Raw. So, Theory and Waller are celebrating a little bit. Theory comes back, says, still going to be rich, though, and walks off. So, yeah, Miz losing out on allies. Gonna be interesting to see what he cooks up. Next up, we have a Shinsuke Nakamura vignette announcing himself for the Royal Rumble, which I'm definitely in for that. We then go to hey CB, to this next matchup as we get Damian Priest taking on Carmelo Hayes. And this match ruled. This was a great bout between these two guys. A lot of outside the ring stuff going on, which found a little bit weird, but eventually... Actually, there was a point where Hayes is on the outside of the ring. Priest comes out. It pounces Hayes over to the announce table, into the barricade. Gets him back in the ring. Hayes with a super kick. Priest goes for the South of Heaven, but that gets blocked into a cutter. Hayes with the first 48. Whiffs on the nothing but net. Um, Priest tries for the clothesline, but that gets blocked into a roll-up for a 2 count. Eventually, Priest does hit the clothesline, hits the South of Heaven to pick up the win. This was a great bout, and personally, I think it should have main evented. Either way, great first win for Priest. Hopefully we get an idea of where he's going for WrestleMania, because right now I don't see anything obvious for him. Anyway, we cut to backstage. We see DIY arguing with Nick Aldis, with the Motor City Machine Guns walking in saying, "Hey Aldis, you tell him?" DIY looking a little bit befuddled, saying, "Tell us what?" Guns pretty much say that we're going to be challenging you for the WWE Tag Team titles in a 2 out of 3 falls match at the Royal Rumble. And of course, DIY kind of goes off on all this verbally for a little bit. Oh boy, that was... It's about time the tag titles got a little respect. And this is the first time they've been defended on pay-per-view since WrestleMania 40. That's a long time, man. And honestly, it's about dang time. So then we see Kevin Owens. He's getting ready in the back. Slings the Winged Eagle title over his shoulder. Then we see Priest. He's walking from the ring for his match. And he runs into Cody Rhodes. Cody says to Priest, "SmackDown, huh?" Priest then replies, "Looks that way." Cody says, "Glad to have you." Walks off. And a little bit under his breath, Priest says, "See you around, champ." So, yeah, are we going to get Priest versus Rhodes at some point in the future? I wouldn't say no. Then we get highlights of Shawn Michaels in his great match card. Like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what he does on Saturday. We then get a card rundown for Saturday night's main event, which looks awesome. Then we see Miz and Andrade talking. With Miz saying, "Look, you have everything you need to be a superstar. You just need someone to guide you." Andrade just kind of smirks and says, "Let me know if you find that someone," and walks off. Jimmy walks in, looks him up and down, and just yeet, and walks off. Then as Jimmy Uso is walking off, Carmelo Hayes walks up on him, saying it's going to take more than 4 moves to beat Owens. Jimmy kind of gives him the side eye, says, next week it's going to take 3 moves to beat you. He makes his entrance for his next match, but before he can get on in the ring, Hayes jumps Jimmy on the ramp. Officials break them up. And then the match starts between Jimmy Uso and Kevin Owens. And as the bell rings, Kevin Owens bails to the outside. Jimmy fights him pillar to post, eventually getting him back in the ring. Whiffs on a hip attack. Then Kevin Owens gets him to the outside again, throws him right into the announce table, and just starts battering poor Jimmy Uso. Throws him back in. Kevin Owens with an elbow drop off the apron. Into a frog splash off the apron. That was interesting. throwing Jimmy Uso back in. Kevin Owens then locks in a sleeper hold, but Jimmy fights out of it. Gives him a couple of headbutts. Goes for the Samoan drop, but that gets blocked into a... I'm going to call it an arm buster because I have no idea what to call that. It's the double knees to the arm, but only gets a 2 count. Owens then works on Jimmy's arm for a little bit. Goes for a superplex. That gets blocked. Kevin Owens tries for a swanton. That gets blocked as well. Jimmy eventually gets the hip attack. Couple of headbutts. Uppercut. Enziguri. Samoan drop for a 2. Whiffs on a splash. Jimmy with a super kick for a 2 count. Jimmy goes for, I want to say it was a clothesline. Kevin Owens with a blue thunder bomb, only for a 2 count. Owens goes for a stunner, that gets blocked. Jimmy tries for a super kick, that gets caught. They trade super kicks, then they kind of cover each other for a 2 count. Jimmy goes for an Uso splash, that misses. Kevin Owens with the super kick, goes for the pop-up powerbomb, that gets blocked. Jimmy with a super kick for a 2 count. Kevin Owens with a knee, goes for a stunner, that gets blocked. Jimmy with a spear, an Uso splash. And as Jimmy is ready for another spear, Kevin Owens stops him, throws him into the ring post, hits the pop-up powerbomb for the win. And then Kevin Owens clears off the announce table, gets Jimmy on it, gets him ready for the package pile driver through it. Then Cody Rhodes comes out, and they have another pull-apart brawl to end the show. So, yeah, SmackDown definitely very eventful. Gonna wait and see what's going on for Saturday night's main event, which I'm gonna cover tomorrow. Then we got some interesting things coming. We got Raw a little later on tonight. Then we are probably gonna get the Royal Rumble, which I'm ready for it. While the build for my only issue for this SmackDown was the promo train that should have been done before with the women announcing themselves for the Royal Rumble, but instead we got it all jam-packed into one, which a little disappointing, but at least we got some there. So, yeah, that is my review for both AEW Dynamite and SmackDown. Coming Friday will be Monday Night Raw. And, first coming tomorrow is going to be my review for Saturday night's main event. Then I was originally going to do it on Wednesday. I think I'm going to do it on Thursday now. It's going to be my predictions for WWE's Royal Rumble. Then on Friday, it's going to be my review for WWE Raw and NWA Power. Hopefully you guys check those out. Till next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.